and welcome back into our kitchen. This evening we're going to make some French crepes for you. And not just the crepes, but also show you what we do with them once we actually made the crepes. Now there's two kinds of crepes, one is savory and one is sweet. The savory is usually made from buckwheat flour, and this dates back to the region of Brittany or Bretagne in French, where they used to make their galettes, which is what the name of the savory crepe in Brittany is called, made with buckwheat flour. So when you travel there nowadays, if you go into a restaurant and you order a galette, it's made with buckwheat flour and usually savory. And for a sweet crepe, for dessert, it would be made with white flour. So you have those two ways of making the crepe. Now I personally also use, like many other restaurants do throughout France, the actual white flour crepe to make it also savory. So the filling will be a savory filling. And in Italy, as a matter of fact, they call them crespelle, and you'll find them on many menus as well throughout Italy, and it will be a crepe with a savory filling and usually covered with cheese and put in the oven. So we'll start. As I prepare the crepe and the filling, I will be talking about the ingredients in metric. So do check out my blog if you're interested in making these at home. I will have them also in the imperial measurements. So Manlio is going to zoom in here as we prepare the crepe batter. So I'm not making the filling yet, I'm making the crepe batter. So we're going to start with 125 grams of flour. I'm going to go into my pot over here. Now we're going to mix the flour with 2 eggs. Oops. Okay, so now we're mixing here the eggs with the flour. So as you can see, it's not really dry now. So we're going to add some milk to this. And I do a little bit at a time, just like I make my bechamel sauce. If you watched my video on how to make a cheese souffle, so that the flour can absorb the milk. For the milk, it's actually 1/4 liter. So I have that measured out in my cup before I started. And I use whole milk. There's no point using fat-free. I mean, it is a crepe after all, so just use whole milk. And just like the bechamel sauce, you do not want in the sauce, what was it again, Manu? The word for the little clumps? That's it. We don't want, some clumps is fine, but you don't want big clumps of flour. Pouring the last of the milk. And if you can see the batter, it's quite liquidy and quite smooth. I mean, yes, there's a few little clumps, but that's fine. That's not a big deal. So this is the consistency that you would like. So these are special pans that I bought in France. I actually have 2 of these. I've had these for a long time, and they're strictly for crepes. So this is an actual pan just to make crepes. So we just made the batter. I need to put this on the oven so that it heats up before I come over here with my batter. So I'm going to put it on medium because I want this pan to heat up nicely but not burn. And the last thing that we need to do is we need to pour 2 teaspoons of oil into the batter. Okay, my 2 teaspoons of oil are here. Again, I just do a nice gentle stir. Tomorrow, I will be making crêpe Suzette. And when I make the batter for the crepe for that, I'm going to add some sugar to it, and it will be 25 grams of sugar that you would add to the crepe batter, but not tonight. Okay, so as you can see, I've already made 2 crepes. I use this wooden board, which actually I bought in Italy, which is where I put our polenta onto when we make polenta. So it's a polenta wooden board, but I use it also for my crepes so that when I'm taking them out of the pan, they go onto here. So you'll see what I mean. So a soup ladle full, okay? And onto the pan. There we go, and onto the fire. So I don't have it on high, I have it on slightly over medium. Now I'm working with a gas stove, so it all depends what you're working with. As it starts to curl on the edges, that's why I like one of these wooden spoons, okay? You gently go underneath. And you flip your crepe. Look at that. Now on this side you wait a couple of seconds. The word crepe actually comes from the fact that crepes are crispy on the edges. It actually comes from the Latin word. Okay, and then I'm done with this crepe, and there we go. And we continue to do that with the rest of the batter. So as you can see, this is what it looks like. So it's relatively thin, okay? And so now I'm going to continue making these. I'll make one more here so that you can see how I did it. Because I'm going to have to make some more batter, as I really want to have about 12 crepes for my savory filling. So as you can see, the edges are crisping. Boom, and there we go. Okay, so that's the making of the crepes. So we just finished making the crepes, and as you notice, we put the oil in the batter before making the crepes, not in the actual pan. So you never wash, if you're using an actual crepe pan, you never wash it. I have never ever washed them. You let it cool down first of all, and then you use a paper towel, and you can see the oil on the inside of the pan, and all you want to do is do a wipe. Of course, remove any residue. And this is all you want to do. You just want to remove the residue oil, because the pan has to absorb the oil for the next time you make a crepe. So we've made the crepes, and now we're going to start the bechamel sauce, which is the exact same as the one we made the other day on the cheese souffle video. For tonight, we tend to use this savory filling as our leftovers, or a solution to our leftovers. So for Christmas, we had a ham, and Manliu's been in the last little bit there busy chopping up, or cubing actually, the leftover ham, which is going to go inside our bechamel sauce for the filling for the crepe. But I also love to make a chicken soup. So with a whole chicken, I make a chicken soup, and I will then take the chicken meat off the bones, and with that I will also make a bechamel sauce, put the chicken meat in it, and I will add, usually I like to add mushrooms, I like to add parsley, some cheese, and some seasonings of course, and that will be my other type of filling. So it's a great way to use your leftovers and make it very tasty. So here we have the butter to start off the bechamel sauce. So you can buy the butter in these single, what do you call it? Single packaging? Okay, so one of these, and that's how we're going to start our bechamel sauce. Okay, so here we have melted 1 stick of butter for the bechamel sauce. Now I'm going to pour in the flour. It's 150 grams of flour. I have the temperature on very low because I don't want this to burn. I'm going to need a cloth to hold the side of this. Okay, so the flour has absorbed the butter, so we're going to let this cook for a few minutes. So So now we just like when we made the cheese souffle, we're going to start adding the milk. And I added a little bit at a time because you do not want to form any clumps. So you want to absorb it, and then only a little bit at a time. So you pour some milk, and you stir again. Okay, so I've added the last bit of milk, and kind of stirred it in. The whole time I had the temperature on low flame. So as you can see, the consistency is still somewhat, it's more dense than I would like it to be. So you can always add more milk. So until you like the consistency, right? So we're gonna add a little bit more milk here. Our dog is getting upset because we're not playing with him. So he's taking it out on his toy. Yes, I heard you. So this is a little bit better because by the time we add our ingredients, so it's kind of just falling off the spoon because you certainly don't want it liquidy. Okay, so now here we're going to proceed in turning off the flame, and we're going to add our ingredients. So first of all, we're going to need to add some salt. And again, this will be to your taste, right? Whatever you prefer. So we're going to do some ground pepper here, a nutmeg seed. You can also use powder if you prefer, but the seed will give you a better flavor. It's more powerful. I know this is a little funny, but for coloring, I like to add a little bit of ketchup. I use organic unsweetened ketchup, and so we're going to add, just like I do for my shrimp cocktail. I use ketchup for the sauce that I put my shrimp in. Now we're going to add the ham that Manlio so nicely cut up, and let's see how much we can. We've got quite a bit of ham left over, so I think I'm going to be making another batch of these. Let's see here. Okay, I think this looks good. Now you can add parsley to this if you'd like, and mushrooms. I had mushrooms, but unfortunately I waited too long before I made them. So no mushrooms, but usually that's what I do. I usually will add mushrooms and some parsley to this. So here we have a nice pile of crepes. Here we have the cutting board, and here we have the dish, the Pyrex dish into which the crepes are going to go once I've prepared them. And of course here is the bowl with, of course, a heat protector underneath with our bechamel sauce. So very easy. Take a wooden spoon. Then we fold it over like this, roll it, and place it in here. Again, whoops, took one too many here. Oops. And there we go. And I'll continue until we do all of them. So now all the crepes are in the Pyrex dish. And I like to pick up a mix of Swiss cheese and Gruyere cheese from Trader Joe's. And it's very simple. Now we're going to put the grated cheese on top. Add a little bit more here. Okay, the oven has already been preheating and it's already at 350. So now we're going to put this into the oven.
And here we have our little dog. He says, mi sono rotto I coglioni veramente perché non se ne può più. Qui non si gioca, non si mangia, non si fa niente. Vorrei sapere che cazzo di casa sono capitato. È vero?
Adesso Daddy can play with you. Crepes right out of the oven. Now we can put them on our plates, serve them with the side salad, and bon appétit.